Talk.
Hey everybody. We're in. We're there. All right, I'm going to redo the intro. We're going to cut the first 3 minutes of the stream. So maybe it's going to jump in at a weird place if you're watching in later, folks. But folks, XRP is pumping. We have a big bank to thank for it. We have Cardano pumping. Are we about to get an XRP ETF? The steps are being laid for the quote-unquote banker's coin, aka also going to take down the banker's coin, is now pumping, and we're going to talk about why. It is an XRP day. It's a Cardano day. I think we got a lot of happy viewers. We're good to go. And you know what? The mic, we had a cord, and Ada, that is the dog of TJ. TJ's dog, Ada, she chewed the wire raw. That's actually not what happened. No, it was a software issue.
Oh, and we never did our rundown today either, so we're gonna have to do that.
You know what, folks? We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We have XRP pumping. We have Cardano pumping. We have the market watch. Of course, we have BTC, wrapped BTC. That's going to be pretty huge as well. We have, let's talk about meme coins as well. And also, we're going to have some pretty big stuff on Coinbase. Oh, that's going to be big. And Vitalik attacks Ethereum. That's right. And he doesn't attack it with his stick, everybody. All right. Hey, we have a lot of people jumping in. We apologize for the audio. If you can help us fight the algo that's going to punish us for coming in muted, they're going to punish us. They're going to hurt us. They're going to try to harm us. And when they try to harm us, they try to harm you. When they try to harm you, they try to harm your investments, your ability to retire early. So smash that like button. Let's smash through this resistance that is forming. Let's go into the market watch first. We're going to talk about XRP, then we're going to talk about Cardano. Bitcoin is having a huge pump right now. I think a lot of maybe XRP whales, market buying some Bitcoin with some XRP profits potentially here. We have Ethereum having a good day as well. It is up 2.7%. BNB getting a little bit of a pump off this news. XRP has peeled back a little bit, but it is up 8%. Let's click on the 24 hours here. Look at that jam-packed roller coaster ride right there. TJ, how are we on the left and the right side and everything? Are we good on the imaging?
It's pretty close. Yeah, I mean, you could, it's working for right now. You can make it a little bigger, but it's fine.
That's what she didn't say to me.
Right.
All right, we have Cardano also having a huge pump. It is actually XRP and Cardano right at 8%. Why are these coins pumping? We're going to get into that. That coin has just been a slow and steady pumper. I have a pretty good thesis. It was my Cardano video. No, that wasn't why, folks. Let's look at the biggest gainers in the entire crypto market cap here. Glassworks has the abscess tooth. That is a pain people don't want to imagine. So sorry to hear that. Sway and SUI are pumping. Now, SUI, we have verifiable good news on SUI. We're going to cover the SUI news, but then it looks like another DZ prediction came true. You get something good that happens for Say or SUI, the other coin is going to follow. It's literally because their tokens are so similar in name. Also got some other similarities as well. But Say, piggybacking on this, we also have a good AI pump right now. Brett is pumping. We have another AI adjacent coin. Near is pumping 8.9%. Then we have XRP, Cardano. Then another AI coin. We have Render pumping 7.7%. And Tia having a pretty good day as well, 7.7%. And then Injective with the 6.9%. Do we have some red coins, though? There must be something. It can't be stable coins at 0% here. It's pretty much stable coins at 0%. We have Optimism, a slight pullback, but it's had a pretty healthy week. And then after that, we're in the stable coins. These are the good days in the market. These are the days that kind of make up for the red days, as long as we have more of these days than the red days. TJ, are you feeling bullish heading into Q4? We're about 3 weeks away from heading into Q4.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling bullish heading into Q4. I mean, this is exactly what we've been needing and moving towards and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, this is just what we're looking for.
All right, we have one of the funniest chats in all of crypto here. I'll give you guys a like on credit. Let's see how today's show goes. LOL. No, we love you, all the folks in the chat right now, all the members. Like we said, we're going to do a new thing with member streams tomorrow, and so that's going to be pretty exciting. Now, let's just kind of glance in at Bitcoin here. I said we have to make a decision. Bitcoin must choose a direction. Really hasn't chosen a direction. It is trying to move to the upside, but just be careful. If we get some mega pumps, some mega wicks, look for some rejection around 60,600, 60,700, depending if it happens in the next day or two here. So this is going to be the danger zone, 60,600. And the opportunity zone, I guess you could say, is going to be around 54,100. But be careful, be wary. We might get some wicks. Looks like I might actually need to maybe even move this down just a hair just to get in below the candles right there. So yeah, look out for the area around 53,900, 54,000. Still danger zone. Let's talk about XRP. First, do we still have XRP holders in the chat? Or TJ, do you think we scared them all away?
I'm sure there's some. I mean, it's a pretty strong community, so I'm sure there's definitely some holders still in the chat.
Let me know if you have XRP. I typically despise asking people to put 1 in chat. I'm not going to say put a 1 or a 2, but if you do have XRP, just type in a 1. If you don't, just don't type. Don't. In fact, just hit the like button. That's all I'm asking here. So let me know if you do have some XRP. So what is happening with XRP? Well, it spiked 8%, really closer to 10% at a point as it launched an XRP trust by Grayscale. That is right, Grayscale launching an XRP trust in the US. This closed fund will offer investors exposure to XRP tokens. This is very big here. We got a lot of XRP holders. TJ, do you have to type in 1? Do you hold any XRP?
I don't think I hold any personally, but Ali might. I'm not sure.
It's always an interesting thing, you know, when the wife or the fiance, you know, might have some other crypto coins. I gotta get in on that too. I gotta get a cat to download some Coinbase or maybe even a MetaMask or an Eternal wallet, you know, for Cardano.
She's got pretty good instincts when it comes to crypto. She was, you know, just the other day talking about like, hey, should I buy some more SUI? And I know that's one we're talking about today. So,
well, it would have been sweet if she did she?
I'm not sure. We talked about it. I'd have to ask her.
You know what? Is there a chance you could text her now and then let us know later on? I think the people need to know.
Yeah,
they want to know. They're curious. They want to know if you know what moves are we making here in the office here. I have 1 Ripple shares and XRP. All right, so we got Grayscale launching an XRP trust. This is huge because it could pave the way for an XRP ETF. This is where you'll have BlackRock's customers buying this. The closed-end fund will offer accredited investors direct exposure to XRP. So this is, you know, only for accredited investors. If we look it up, I think we should be able to find this pretty easily here. You got to have, I believe, net worth over, what is it, $1 million?
Yeah, it depends. And I think it's like a combined income of like 300K or something like that. There's a couple different parameters.
All right, so here we go. Google breaking it down. So you got to have a net worth of at least 1 million, excluding the value of your home. And so that would bring in a lot of people. You also have to earn at least 200K in each of the last years or 300 with a spouse or partner and expect to earn the same amount in the current year. You have to get your license. So there's going to be a test you have to pass. And then you have to be a director, executive officer, or general partner of the company selling the securities here. So there's a couple qualifications, a couple qualifiers here. So it's only going to be for the richy riches out there. And so they can get direct exposure to XRP. Now, they previously offered a trust, but they dissolved it following the SEC's lawsuit in December 2020, when they alleged that the XRP token is a security under federal securities laws. Now, TJ, where do we base our federal securities law from?
You're talking about the orchard?
Yes.
Yeah, citrus orchards back in the day.
Yeah. Good old orchard. Yeah, it is literally based off about almost 100 years or maybe even a little bit more rules that applied to selling shares in an orange orchard farm. And so, you know, you have like some parcels here and you're expecting some sort of profit. If you bought, you know, like sell me 1% of your little orchard, then I expect you to turn a profit. It's like crop sharing. It's like a John Steinbeck novel rule. It doesn't really apply to today's world of technology. And so Ripple, this is here. Ripple has emerged victorious in its widely followed court case against the SEC. Of course, the SEC could still appeal. Does look like there's some signals that they might appeal. Ripple not quite out of the woods just yet. But we believe the Grayscale XRP Trust gives investors exposure to a protocol with a real-world use case, according to Grayscale's head of product and research. Not going to try. No, chat wants to see me try, don't they? I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm trying to give my best job here. Rayhane Sharif Askari. That's not that bad. All right, in a press release, by facilitating cross-border payments that take just seconds to complete, XRP can potentially transform the legacy financial infrastructure. So this is a lot closer for us to get an XRP ETF. This is very bullish news. Now, TJ, let's pull up XRP. I have a question for you. Is this going to be enough strength and, the potential for an ETF? Is this setting up a scenario where maybe I have to go to the 3-day here? This coin is so old. Can we potentially break what? Wow, this coin is a lot older than I think sometimes here. Are we on? Yeah, we're log, so that's why. Let's go to regular. Let's go ahead and stretch this y-axis here. Let's get rid of this bright yellow line. You can see a heck of a trend line. And the trend line's not a good trend line. Can we break the trend line with this good news, TJ?
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely moving to the part of the cycle where alts really start to break out of some terrible structures. I mean, like you said, that is not a good looking trend line. Now, do I think they'll break back above all-time highs or anything? Who knows? But I do think it can get above that line. I mean, it's coming to the end of that wedge right there. Obviously,
it has to choose a direction,
it
right?
has to do something.
It has to do something.
And this is what's interesting about fundamentals versus technical versus all sorts of different things in this part of the cycle, where we're moving into Q4. We're moving into the part of the cycle where altcoins can really start to make some crazy moves crazy fast, and we will see who moves it into a bullish structure and who doesn't. To your point, this structure that they're looking at here, I mean, if it flips above it, there's all kinds of room to the upside. If it stays below it, obviously it's just more and more pain and you're missing opportunities. So right now in the cycle is when you need to identify which horses you want to ride for the rest of this cycle.
Yeah, man, you got to choose what you're going to ride into the sunset here.
Totally. You got to choose. Are you staying with some of these old giants that have proven themselves in the past? I would put Cardano in a similar category. I do think Cardano's more, they both have kind of use cases and arguments of strong community, big potential movers. We've seen them close a lot of gap really fast. Or are you wanting to move more towards something newer with a little bit better tech, a SUI, an Avalanche, a Tau, Tia, some of those sorts of things. Either way, we're going to see big moves. It's just about how you pick which one you're going to ride with this cycle.
I have an experiment for us. TJ, where are we on likes right now?
Right now, we're at 174.
174. If you like Big TJ, the chat's going crazy for Big TJ. Hit that like button, and we're going to check again in about 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes here. So if you like Big Head TJ here.
I swapped it out since Josh is out. Josh, Ondo Boy officially on his honeymoon for the next week. So you're going to get a lot of TJ DZ duo action. So I went ahead and put myself in the 2 shots. So.
All right. So let's kind of just look at some of the important numbers here as we look at this channel. I mean, this channel has been going on for years. It really does, respect a lot of these lines. You can see the wicks. We're looking at the daily chart here. So this ends in January. So we're very close to the finish line where it must choose a direction here. And I don't really see a scenario where it, goes down that low. I think it's more likely it bangs around the top and then goes to the upside. There's going to be, potential for it to to bang the top and then go to the downside.
Usually how it works, right?
That's how it drips down. Anyways, if you had to choose up or down, TJ? Put out a bold prediction here. I'm saying I'm not the most bullish person on XRP. I'm saying up.
Up, yeah, I would say that too. I think we break out above this channel, and I think
all
we're
right. I like
it. A lot. Yeah.
Chat, put in up or down. What do you think this is going to do? It might be a good litmus test for just the smarter investors out there. Let's just look at some numbers. The bottom price level, 43 cents. I guess if it happens in the next day, you can get down to 41.5 cents. But 43 cents is going to be that top range. I am interested, kind of like on the 25-minute. Wow, look at these wicks just respecting this line. Very, very interesting to see this here. XRP just, it is not trying to break this multi-year trend anytime soon here, but it does want to break it eventually here. So love what we're seeing with the XRP charts. We needed some bullish price action here. And XRP, it's do or die time. January, it's going to be do or time. Up only. Sideways, worse for everybody. Yeah, what we don't want to see is, you have this channel here, you have this channel here, kind of had like a really important area right here. And if it just kind of goes out sideways, that's going to be terrible. Anyways, that was terrible. And I apologize for that. I should not have done that. That made the forehead a little heated there. All right. So great news for XRP, but there's another coin that was pumping, TJ, another major coin. Used to be a top 10. Now it's a top 15. It's Cardano. Getting some good news here as well. Cardano, bullish. And I think a lot of it is due to this person right here. Oh, I could zoom in just a tad here. You know Dan, right? Crypto Capital
Crypto
Recruiter.
Capital Venture, yeah.
Yeah. CC Crypto Recruiter is Ben Cowan's post there. So say his last name. Oh, it is Crypto Recruiter. Okay.
Gam Bardello.
You want to hear him say it? All right. So, we put out this video a while ago. Reasons to be bullish on Cardano. Look at this, posted 3 days ago on X. We put it out over the weekend on Discover Crypto here. 3 reasons a bull div, Cardano, Bitcoin. Also, Fed rate cuts, was bullish for altcoins in 2019. Also, Snake.fun, bringing a lot. But I even said, I saw the bull div from Dan, and I hope I said his name right. He set the record straight, folks. Can we hear this?
I believe so. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Dan setting the record straight on how to say his name.
All right, DZ. It has been long enough. It's time to set the record straight. Dan Gambardello.
You got it right, TJ.
Hey.
Gambardello. All right, so we love Dan. Dan's.
How'd you say it?
Not that. It was like Gambardello. I don't know. Go. We have it up on YouTube.
I'm terrible at that.
You can go if you want to see me bastardize his name. Has Cardano finally bought him 5 days ago? 16K views. We got a lot of views on X as well. We're pushing 13 now, and so also, folks, maybe I should work on this video here. Do you want to see this video? I saw what I'm seeing some similarities, right? So I want to see what happened the last time they launched an altcoin trust. There's 4 that were newer: Tau, Avalanche, SUI. I'm blanking on the 4th one here. And then look at, Avalanche, SUI. Yeah, well, I figured it's in the video, or if I do make it, can we determine XRP's next move by looking at the previous move? I think that might be, we might need to lead people to the promised land with XRP. Do they need to sell it? Do they need to diamond hand it? I think it's important. I think there's enough people out there still holding XRP.
Yeah, let us know in the chat too. If you, do you think it's going to break it to the upside, or what's your, short term to long term, next 12-month XRP prediction? Would you get out and get into other coins or not?
Let us know. Easter egg. I know a wrestler who has 40% of his money in Cardano.
Wow.
Feels like me sometimes. Cardano bull cycle. So, there's some outline. He outlined some stages for an all-time high here. Bardello. And he's just, saying we're currently at the 3rd step of the cycle. The told you should have listened. This is my new favorite chart in crypto, but they don't show it here. So it's a good thing that I actually quote tweeted the man. So I have it right here. Cardano cycle in 5 steps. Cardano down, fun while it lasted. Next step, tech does nothing. It's just a bull trap. You can kind of see it right there. Number 3, told you should have listened. Told you it was done. And then here we go again, another bull trap. And then it's all-time highs shattered. That happened last time. We can see it kind of forming something similar right here. I mean, I don't know. There's some credence here. If you kind of look at like the little scam wick, little scam pump. Another deep crash, and then we're getting up for maybe some bullish action. Another ghost chain late bounce. Do you see this potentially playing out a second time?
Yeah, I mean, I could see a scenario for it.
Now he's saying $15 Cardano. Could you see a $15 Cardano?
I mean,
this cycle.
I was just saying, I don't know if I can see it in my dreams for sure.
Is it a wet one?
Yeah, no. Maybe with a $15 Cardano, it might be. I don't know. Yeah, I've learned that a lot
this
is
is how
possible.
TJ dreams, by the way. Cardano, go up $15.
I'll take anything above 5. Anywhere between 5 and 10, I'll be happy. 15 is optimistic for me, but I'll take anywhere in that ballpark.
I do think there's going to be a lot of degen selling at, what's the degen number for Cardano? You could probably guess it. It's a little bit past
420.
Yeah. I think watch it play out, folks.
I mean,
watch it play
5
out.
to 8 though seems almost conservative. So I mean, in a bull scenario, 15. Yeah, send it. Like I would be in a great mood.
All right. Well, where are we at on likes?
247.
They like Big TJ.
They do.
That was a resounding success.
Yeah.
Thank you, Disco
Boom,
fam.
there you go. Who doesn't like Big TJ?
I'm just going to be respectful
Yeah,
and
we'll just
move on to SUI.
we'll just move along on that now.
Moving along here, Grayscale officially launching SUI Trust for accredited investors back in the SUI blockchain with 916K in assets. Important distinction, and this is going to make its way in the video. Inception date was 43 days ago. So 43 days ago, this was incepted. Basically, Leo DiCaprio went in their dreams. No, so this was incepted 43 days ago. So I think I need to look at some of these previous trusts, look at the dates, because this is kind of what we're looking at with the XRP. Like, you can't go trade the XRP thing today, but you can trade SUI today. It took 43 days. And so, maybe there's something in, maybe I got to put on my old accountant hat, man. I think I'm going to work on that after the stream here. We do have some Bitcoin pumps here. I think a large part of it is good news for XRP sometimes feels like good news for the rest of the market. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, especially, specifically around the SEC case, right? Because it did kind of set the tone for.
It's a tone setter,
right? So yeah, I could get behind that.
Yeah. So we got Bitcoin rally hitting as well. Hit above 58K in the early Asian morning hours here on the back of the technology stocks and gains in the Asian equity market. So Nvidia into the day up 8.2%. And then we also had Microsoft, Google, and Apple jump in. That's why we're seeing a lot of the AI coins that were pumping. So if you're wondering, why is my AI portfolio up? Because Nvidia was up, and then it took crypto, a little bit of time to catch up here. Gains spread to Asia on Thursday, with the stock indices in Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan surging as well. Nvidia has an outsized weight on all equities in the stock market, and if you think it's outsized in like the New York Stock Exchange, imagine being a Taiwanese stock exchange there. So elsewhere, AI coins had a nice little pump as well. So we also saw the pump with Near. Let's switch gears to gold a little bit. I watched Gareth, not so Bareth. People like to think he's so Bareth. He's more Gareth. Gareth's a cool guy. Gareth and Crypto Face, they were talking about gold. And they said something pretty interesting here. But let's listen to James. It's less than a minute here, and then I'm going to tell you what I gleamed from the Bareth/Gareth and Crypto Face stream on gold yesterday.
I want to say is like gold and Bitcoin, right? Like it's everyone a lot of people like to say gold is like a hedge against like the equity markets going down. And the thing I've always argued with people, because I used to cover commodities with our commodity strategist here at Bloomberg, Mike McGlone, is like gold is not a hedge against equity risk or anything like that. It's just a hedge against currency debasement. Really, that's the one thing you can look at as gold, like over the long term, what it actually does. And Bitcoin, yes, obviously the performance has been there, but over time, it's just super equated to like what's going on in equities, as we were talking about before. So yes, I actually called Bitcoin a risk asset. I still say I view it as a risk asset. But actually, when I was on stage with BlackRock a few different times, and multiple people at BlackRock have said this, they refuse. Like, it's like obviously in their the way that they talk about these things is they don't want to call it a risk asset. They think it's a safe haven asset. It's just not being viewed properly by the market.
So we're switching gears, from the smart institutional traders, from the big money, from the billionaire class. It's getting away from a risk asset onto more of a safe haven asset. Now, let's look at gold. I just kind of want to tell you just the bold price prediction that they had for gold here. Let's just put out let's get rid of this horizontal line. I'm going to leave it. That was the gold ETF. This was the launch of the gold ETF. Would you want to sell? Let's just measure, let's just measure this right here. It didn't really make a move for a while, right? That's 260 days. That's probably roughly where we're at with the Bitcoin ETF. So would you want to sell Bitcoin? Look what happened if you sold gold here, almost a year after the ETF. So do you want to sell Bitcoin, half a year, 2/3 a year after that ETF?
That is nuts.
That's a hell no. That is a hell no. That's what's crazy. That is just a regular chart. It's not even that stretch of a y-axis. All right, so let's put this here right at $2,000. And so the analysis, basically what they were saying, gold knocked against $2,000 so often, and then when it opened the door, it just pulled a straight Kool-Aid, man. It did one little bounce, and then it sprung so hard, and then created a higher low with a new higher high. They made a bold prediction. We may never see gold below $2,000 again, ever. Now, what do you think? Is that good or bad for Bitcoin?
I think it's I don't know if it really impacts Bitcoin that dramatically.
I think that's fair.
It's kind of irrelevant to Bitcoin, if that makes sense. Like many other things, markets. It's a reflection of Bitcoin. I agree. I don't know if we'll ever see gold below Bitcoin or below 2,000 again. That's like saying I don't know if we'll ever see Bitcoin below 20,000 again. I think it's in that same. We're slowly losing value of fiat currencies, and that trend is not changing anywhere across the world, and that trend's going to continue. So I think we'll continue to see gold value go up over time as a hard asset. We'll continue to see Bitcoin value go up as a hard asset over time. But it is fascinating that nations, institutions, hedge funds, asset managers are starting to put Bitcoin in that same safe haven asset category as a inflation store of value. That is really, really good. So I think it puts Bitcoin and gold very squarely in the same camp as a hedge or a safe haven asset, which Bitcoiners have been saying for almost a decade now, and that's why they use the gold market cap as a base case minimum of what Bitcoin can achieve. And so, yeah, I think we're set for a very, very fun next 4 to 8 years ahead of us when it comes to Bitcoin price action.
I guess if I did have a gold thesis here, I didn't quite share the rest of what they're saying. One other thing that they said is it does look like gold's going to be hitting $3,000 before people realize it or before people are expecting it. I think that's a fair shake or a fair statement when you look at what it did from 1,000 to 2,000, which was doubling. And so from 2,000 to 3,000 is only a 50% pump. So I can see a world and where gold hits 3K real quickly. I think if that world does happen, gold will have increased interest. And if gold has increased interest, some number, you got 1,000, I don't say boomers, but let's just say boomers for this sake. They're used to their just boring Morgan Stanley stuff. And, maybe they want to take a little bit more control. There's going to be, say, 1,000 boomers. All of a sudden, ears perk up when gold hits 3K. Some number of those 1,000 are going to do some research. They're going to look into gold. And then that's going to lead them invariably to Bitcoin. And then they're going to kind of look at the risk reward ratios here. And I think some number of those 1,000 boomers will buy Bitcoin instead. I don't know if it's an appreciable amount enough to move the needle, but I think there is some element of that. And so just an interesting theory.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is central banks. You just look it up. Central bank demand for gold has surged in the past 5 years. They're buying almost 1 in every 10 ounce being produced. So gold demand is going up dramatically, which to your point, I think Bitcoin now being held alongside it, even if it's just a percentage play, banks, nations everywhere are looking for a way to store value that doesn't get eroded away quickly. Fiat currency all around the world, that's not going to stop happening. So yeah, I think we see gold and Bitcoin being best friends for the foreseeable future.
Oh, that's my best friend. That's my best friend.
Yeah.
Groceries. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin here. Let's throw it in the grocery bag because Bitcoin recorded the largest net outflow from exchanges since May yesterday, totaling 750 million. I had moved the charts too many times here. I wanted to I thought I was going to have it on Bitcoin still. Otherwise, I would have had it over here. Bitcoin, if we look at spot crypto, I just want to show off May, kind of what happened here, because it didn't happen May. Towards the end of May, it happened closer to the middle part of May. So this is the beginning of May right here. And then this is the end of May right here. And so start of May, end of May, it was very, very bullish. Last time we had a lot of Bitcoin leave exchanges. Did that bullishness continue? Heck no. We visited the bottom of the channel. But last time we were in a scenario, Bitcoin left exchanges at a high rate. We ended up getting a very good pump for Bitcoin. That kind of leads to this right here, with the outflows reaching 750 million yesterday, the largest since May. Obviously, this is signaling growing interest, and this is a transfer of Bitcoin to cold wallets by institutions here. So this trend has led investors to move it off exchanges into cold storage. Shout out to Arculus here. Go to getarculus.com, code DC10 if you want to participate in some gold storage yourself here. Significant participation in the 10th outflows suggests a large portion likely came from the major market players, indicating long-term optimism. Historically, large outflows often been a precursor to price increases, mainly due to reduced available supply and growing demand. And this is where, you see the outflows here. There's something I wanted to share. I thought they had it where the buying, the ratio here is starting to just look a little crazy here. We're going to pull that up later on in the show. We do have a little outflow. And so it was interesting. We got outflows on the Bitcoin ETFs, but we're having large amounts purchased from exchanges Is this people front running massive inflows, do you think, TJ?
Yeah, could be.
I think so too.
I think a lot of these asset managers, a lot of these people are trying to get their hands on as much Bitcoin as they can because many people know about, the 4-year cycle. They know about liquidities and they know about the rate cuts coming, what they think we're going to see heading into 2025 post-election. Great video you did about what happens after the election. That's something we were talking about here in the office. And I'm curious, let us know in the chat what you think. Is the 4-year cycle dead or is it still intact? Does it look different? That was a debate we were having here in the office today. We're thinking about maybe making a video about that. Let us know. Let us know your opinion on that, or if you'd like to see us make that video, we might go shoot that right after the stream. So
yeah. I'm not going to front run it. You'll have to watch the video to figure it out. We had Bitcoin mining difficulty hitting a new all-time high. So just, a lot of bullish things happening behind the scenes here. We do have Bitcoin just a couple months away from a new all-time high, according to Kevin Svensson. He had some interesting thesis here. I don't want to get into the price action, 89.92. Let's go ahead and front run him. He said 89 to 92. But the reason he's bullish is Bitcoin is forming a descending broadening wedge. It's typically a bullish signal. Could surge 63%. Let's double click on a descending broadening wedge. I was interested, it's not something I know the exact stats on. So let's do the stats. Let's do the breakdown here. This is from enrichmoney.in. Descending broadening wedge pattern. I want to read the whole thing. This is the important part. The success ratio. Forget the rest. This is the part that matters. The descending broadening wedge can form on any time frame and marks a short, intermediate, or long-term trend reversal. The odds of a breakout. Hit the like button if you like this info. The upside, 80%. 20 side break to the downside. So we got 80%. We got a 4-to-1 odds. This breaks to the upside. And this is, it's basically kind of like that megaphone pattern we've been talking about here. So we got an 80% bullish pattern forming here. So it's looking very, very bullish. Let's see. We're just kind of draw it out real quickly here for the folks, for the people in the chat. 80% odds we break to the upside eventually here. I like the mods. You like the mods?
I'll take those odds.
I'll take those odds, everybody. Now just move my Cardano tokens. All right. Congrats to all Bitcoin hodlers. You freaking legends. You legends. You survived the longest bear market in Bitcoin history. So they have an interesting way of measuring.
I was gonna say, I've heard this. I'm curious to hear this. But
yeah, I was interested too. I was like, well, what? I had to squint my eyes and lean in like Mr. Magoo here. So they're not saying the bear market starts from the top on the way down. It's a year-over-year percentage change. It might be kind of hard to see. So because we ran up so quickly in 2017, the tail end of 2017, it didn't take long for you to be in the negative territory. And so because it happened so quickly, but we've been flat for so long and, didn't have these sharp rises. When we pull back very quickly, it's still bearish. Like, yeah, that's bearish compared to a year ago, bearish compared to a year ago. Then because it's dropped so suddenly, like even this area right here, now it's more bullish compared to here, but compared to a year ago, it is bearish. And so it's just a year-over-year percentage change.
Yeah, that's interesting. It shows kind of what feels like more reprieve in 2019, I guess that is.
Mm-hmm.
You got that little, I don't know. I guess, whatever. Charts will do it. But I mean, it feels kind of similar to 2019, but I guess you got a little bit more movement or a little more volatility in 2019 than we've had. Or maybe late 2018, like it ran up and then went sideways for all of 2019? Because it pretty much felt 2019 was all the way sideways, just like 2022 was, and then and then we dipped and then ripped. I mean, that's the top of 21 you're looking at there, right?
Yeah, and this is the sideways action of 2022 right there. And then we had like all the exchanges and everything start cratering. And then we also had periods of sideways action. It was just like violent move, sideways action, violent move, sideways action, violent move, sideways action. And then we started getting some bullishness in the charts there.
Yeah, but it's still showing that as bear market, even though like, see where it says down there before. I mean, it's that section there where we're getting some bullishness. It just looks more muted compared to what happened in 2019. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
To me, overall, it feels pretty similar.
Yeah. We have Bitcoin expected to soar over 100K according to CNBC. And it says no matter who wins the U.S. presidential election, they basically just have this thesis right here. Bitcoin's growth driven more by global conditions rather than U.S. political leadership. I would say that's directionally true for sure.
Yeah,
and we
so
also
they're
have
on
the global liquidity levels.
I was going to say global liquidity cycles, which I agree with. I think Bitcoin and global markets and the flow of money supersedes so many political things, so many, like, sure, there's things that impact it, but I think people like to overcomplicate. And I think it's a human nature thing. We like to feel like we have more control than we do. We like to feel like we have a stronger say than maybe we actually do in reality. And I think that's the case. I mean, really, at the end of the day, this is supply and demand driven economics, and that doesn't go away. It can be impacted a little bit, but not. It's not 100%.
Yeah, prices based off supply and demand. But yeah, presidential election is very low. I haven't really thought about number 3, but number 1 to me, the halving cycle. When it comes to, affecting supply and demand, aka affecting Bitcoin's price, the number 1 thing is the halving. Number 2 to me is global liquidity, and so presidential elections is at number 3. It would be closer to 10 or maybe even outside of that. We have we brought up some meme coins yesterday on the political front. So if you're in some of these, I just thought this was interesting, and we're going to point out what we talked about yesterday. There's a coin that pumped yesterday. It's not on this list. I'll explain why right after. But MAGA, number 1 by market cap with 130. Then we got MAGA Hat. That's the degens trying to replicate the success of here. Then we have Trimp, Strump, Tuker. Then Kamala's top coin, that is 7 million. MAGA again, and Fight to MAGA, Dark MAGA, Forge. You know what? Saying all these words are probably going to hurt us in the algorithm. If you could hit that like button if you haven't hit it yet, that would really help us out here. But Harris, remember we talked about Harris coin pumped after the debate? Mm-hmm. Took a little bit of a dump. But folks, it actually looks like maybe it has recovered some of it. It was down 20%. Now it's only down 3%. And when I hit refresh, it was 9%. And so, hey, finding a little bit of a bounce. What are these candles? Oh, the 1 hour. Okay. So we're further away from the pumps here. So we're closer to the dumping area, and that's why we're seeing muted returns there. So yeah, that coin, I figure that coin may have started surpassing, but it looks like that one's down as well. Big shout out to DAG Constellation Network here. You can find more about them, constellationnetwork.io. It is the DAG token right now, $76 million market cap. I have a pretty, maybe not that bold a prediction, but, it won't be too long, I think, before this is above 100 million. Now, I did want to, or go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, speaking of projects and tokens and that sort of thing, we have partners over in Token 2049 right now. For those of you who aren't out there, a lot of big announcements coming out of that conference, a lot of big stuff going on. We actually have one of our media partners who's out there. They're waiting in the wings. Roundtable. They're doing a lot when it comes to decentralized media, trying to empower content creators, journalists, and news people everywhere to be able to get messages out there without having to appease the tech overlords, whether it be Google or Meta or the like. So we have James Heckman waiting in the wings for a quick interview to tell us what they have going on, and we will bring him in now, and let's see what we got.
James, my man, how are you doing today?
Hey guys, how are you? Enjoy listening to you.
I can't hear him.
Oh, okay. I can hear him good. Are you connected to the call there?
Oh, he might not be.
Call? But yeah, James actually visited last time with us. He had some audio issues. So James, tell us real quick what's going on out in Singapore.
I think
James, I'm sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to shout out that I hear him now. I hear you. James, how are you doing? TJ asked you a real question that I didn't happen to hear. TJ, can you repeat it one more time?
I'm just asking him what the new announcements are.
Oh yeah, what do you got going on?
Well, I've got two questions.
And I have one answer.
An echo, and I don't think it can be me.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm hearing quite the echo.
They're saying echo.
I don't know how to do this.
I think I stopped it. But
only on one thing. Do you get an echo, guys?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Well, I'll try to block it out. Well, in Singapore, I think it really is an incredible event. It's obviously the biggest, in the world. I honestly election boggling everybody's mind. I think the interesting chart when I was on a spaces with a lot of political and crypto guys last week, said, hey, you should really follow when the market believes that Trump is going to win, Bitcoin goes up. When Wall Street Journal comes out and says Harris is going to win, Bitcoin goes down. And, the assassination, his survival, Bitcoin went crazy. When Kennedy said, I'm going to join Trump, Bitcoin went crazy. And of course, all the other tokens follow. And I think that has more to do. People are looking at charts. People are doing a lot of things, but everybody's talking about it in Singapore right now. I was just on a call right before here with 20 super OGs, and all they were talking about is the Trump election. And frankly, I think in the United States, if the SEC continues to be run by the Biden-Harris administration, there are people that are not only worried about what happens with Bitcoin, they're worried about never entering the United States anymore. They're worrying about things being shut down, bank accounts being shut down. So this is really an existential election for the entire industry. And if you look at JP Morgan and all the large banks accumulating in Bitcoin, you could look at history and see that these major institutions like to put competitors out of business. And so I think the whole crypto space is at risk. I actually don't think Bitcoin's at risk. I think it could go up. So that's what the conversation is in Singapore. That was kind of the first question. And, I'm not sure what you guys think about it, but it's really, you can talk hours about that. You throw all the financials out the window, throw interest rates out of the window, throw the stock market. I think the election is the most important thing, and especially for non-Bitcoins.
Well, I have a question on that specifically. What do you think is Trump, if you're saying there would be some price action if Trump wins, what one move is going to be the catalyst for this? Is this going to be, people are thinking strongly, or broadly a stronger economy? Is it going to be specifically Gary Gensler being fired? Is it JD Vance and Vivek potentially being in his cabinet, whispering in his ear about, Bitcoin? What is the number one smoking gun when it comes to his administration that is going to affect crypto policy, do you think?
I mean, Polymarket, if you ever really want to know what's going to happen in the world, you look at what the most brilliant gamblers are thinking to find out what's going on. But I think what people are worried about is regulatory issues. And, I think that retail sees the market go down, the crypto market, and they think that is bad for Bitcoin. I think the reality is, if you really want to know what business is going to be successful, you've got to go look at what BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs are pouring money in. So every time there's a negative announcement, Roger Ver gets arrested, CZ goes to prison, Coinbase ends up getting sued. The irony is, Bank of England, Bank of Israel, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, they're accumulating at those negative announcements. Like, just think about that, because that's exactly what's happened to the world. In 1929, gold had been the same price for 100 years, and then it doubled because it was allowed to double up to 1933. And then the CBDC, the paper money was invented, gold was banned. And so I think following the people who control the markets is way smarter thing to do. And then I think what they'll end up doing is what they do with banks. They just put them all out of business and consolidate under a couple banks. And that, obviously happened in 1933. It happened in the 60s. It happened in the S&L crisis. It happened in 2008. And it's happening, right now. So I think that there's not necessarily a smoking gun. I think there's fear of regulation, and I think there really shouldn't be fear. We should just be watching what the people who control the money supply are doing.
Yeah, well,
it's just not. It's simple as that.
Well, I think your answer was pretty interesting. The number one thing that, just kind of game theorying out if Trump wins, what happens to crypto prices here. You said the number one effect will be from his regulations. He's famous for saying he wants to lower the amount of regulations. I see the lowering of crypto regulations potentially affecting a particular altcoin more than Bitcoin. And that's probably the coin when people think of, the regulators are going after this coin. I think most people think XRP. Do you think XRP will be a bigger benefit from a Trump presidency versus Bitcoin?
I think the way to look at it, and this is not the answer that you're looking
Oh,
for.
I have no dog in the XRP fight. There's going to be a lot of community members who are waiting with bated breath on what you're going to say, though, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a policy guy and I would say political media person with geopolitical focus as opposed to what markets are doing. If Harris wins, then her benefactors, which are the people who control the money supply, will eliminate all competitors to Bitcoin. Okay, they're looking at custody. They have control of Coinbase. They have control of Fidelity. They have control of BlackRock. And they will have majority control of Bitcoin very soon. So if you look at the game plan for them in all markets, right? The same investors own both Coke and Pepsi, right? The same investors own Apple, Google, and Facebook. They want to control the dominant asset. So I'm not saying that maybe Ethereum will be saved, but I think regulation will come out and just absolutely wipe out everything that BlackRock affiliate banks don't have control of because they don't like competitors. I think the one thing that will be saved is USDT and USDC, because if the Harris administration wins, they will want a treasury-backed crypto token. Obviously, it's not Bitcoin. If you look at what they did in 1933, they accumulated gold and then swapped for paper, and then basically burned all the gold by moving it into Fort Knox. So the move that's obvious is if you look at USDT accumulating treasuries, they will accumulate in Bitcoin, take the standard BlackRock 20x, or the JP Morgan 20x return, and then they'll force a legal swap to USDT or USDC or whatever the CBDC of choice is. That's what happens in a Harris world. So there's a lot of money to be made in Bitcoin, but you got to get out before they do the swap. If Trump is there, it's an open free market. And so actually Bitcoin is going to make less money because demand is going to be spread, is going to be diluted. With a Harris win, it's going to be actually all focused on Bitcoin because they're going to harass the crap out of anything that's not Bitcoin.
Oh,
so
right.
it's ironic, but you'll actually make more money on Bitcoin if Harris wins.
Do you see a world, Tether becoming one of the largest buyers of U.S. treasuries? The U.S., they need people to buy the treasuries as foreign nations are not buying them at the rate they used to, or even selling them to buy gold instead. Is there a world in which, with more tokenization, Tether buying more treasuries, is there a world where Tether's market cap could ever surpass Bitcoin's market cap?
I mean, of course, and it can be forced artificially by the U.S. government and the U.S. military. What people don't understand is there's no such thing as asset-backed currencies. It's all magic. Back in Rome, one day Caesar's token became the currency. It was salt, for a long time because that basically the currency was being able to survive by eating, meat. It became paper in 1933. They said it was gold, but if you look at gold price from 1933 up in, to the 70s, they made paper gold backed artificially by allowing gold to go from like $100, to thousands of dollars. So the whole thing is a scam. Even gold backed is fake because you can make it whatever you want, right?
Uh-oh. Lose some
So
audio
all
there
that matters,
for a second.
right?
Oh, there, you're back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of gold, I heard some bold predictions. Gold might never go below $2,000 again. What do you think of that prediction? Do you think that's more or less likely to happen?
I think there's a lot of fear in the world. I think there's a lot of people are worried about not just inflation, but CBDC. Obviously the data.
Yeah, we're losing. Lost you again there, Roundtable.
This is dust in
IO.
a cave at a mountain. And so a lot of people want to accumulate gold. Land is not portable. Gold's barely portable, but I've actually heard of these little thin wafers, gold available in Singapore that are somewhat portable. But I think there's a lot of fear out there. I'm not recommending it. I'm not saying I believe that, but I'm just saying there are people who are accumulating gold out of safety and some kind of weird portability. So of course, I think when people try to say gold versus Bitcoin, I think it's a really silly discussion. They're totally different, and they have different vulnerabilities and different weaknesses and different strengths. Gold's forever, of course. People will accumulate. People with wealth who are worried about, being left with nothing. I don't know a super wealthy person who doesn't have gold hidden somewhere.
All right. Well, folks, I do want to share roundtable.io. They got a lot of cool stuff going on over there. So you need to go check out everything they're building. Your X account, I want to make sure we can find it here. So you just look up Roundtable. How do we find you on X?
Yeah, I mean, Roundtable or RTB. I think that we spent time talking about geopolitical, and I know you got to move on. The biggest thing that I think people can do right now is go to the App Store and type in Roundtable RTB. The biggest thing that's important for media when it comes to censorship is demonetization. And what we've built for you and what we've built for a lot of our media partners out there, we have millions of viewers and, it's a multi-million-dollar, media company, is a monetization system where
all right. And folks, I pulled it up.
Can act decentralized. And I think that that's very important for a future of free speech. I would recommend looking at RTB. We're really talking about.
Yeah, we have some audio issues there, but I pulled it up here. If you find this logo, you'll see it. You can get it on iPhone, you can get it on Android, so make sure check that out. Big shout out to Roundtable. Unfortunately, we're just going to probably blame his internet over there. He's over there for the conference, and sometimes you can't exactly choose what your internet service will be like.
Long-term legacy partnerships and stuff going on with millions of users. They're trying to build a decentralized media app. It's already in the App Store and all that sort of stuff, similar to work alongside with X that uses that helps publishers be able to be monetized. So it's a pretty cool project. Something that
doing a lot of things that Elon's trying to do. With X, just more broad.
They're trying to push that free speech movement forward. A lot of other people, I know the altcoin guys and George and Mario and some of these other ones are also trying to help this get off the ground. We're big believers in decentralized media here, so we'll see where it goes.
All right, and speaking of seeing where it goes, let's see where Cardano went. It's now above XRP for the pump today here. You can see Bitcoin is now up 2.6%. XRP has pulled back some of its gains to 6.5%. But Cardano taking up the reins here, 6.8. I kind of want to hit refresh just on the off chance of 6.9. It is 6.2% to the upside, still beating XRP. So one of the biggest gainers, if not the biggest gainer, maybe in the top 50 here, at least top 24 here. Looks like Near's narrowly edging it out. So the biggest gainer in the top 25 here today is Cardano. When Cardano has a green day like this, yes, DZ must take a victory lap. But I wanted to share some of the Cardano alts that are going insane right now. Now, I've sorted this by volume. So we're looking at the highest volume, AGIX 6.76%. But I wanted to highlight two specifically, and that's number 2 here for volume, World Mobile Telecoms. This is a typically, kind of a D-pin play. This is more the physical infrastructure part of crypto and Web3, and World Mobile Telecom is going to be similar to Hivemap. What's the Solana phone project there? I'm blanking on HNT. Helium,
yeah.
HNT. Yeah, I knew the ticker, couldn't think of the name. That's when you're trading crypto too much. It's like, I know the ticker, I forgot the name, HNT. So this is HNT for Cardano, and it's WMT, and they're up 10% today against Cardano, if I'm not mistaken here. I want to say this is all priced in ADA, and so we're pumping against ADA, and ADA is pumping itself. They have ways, oh, wait a minute, here we go. Let's price it in ADA. That's going to change things here. We bring it back up to volume. World Mobile Telecom still pumping as Cardano pumps. And so that's when hey, maybe there's a solid project here. World Mobile Telecom connect the unconnected. Just, I think there's potential here with this play. You can see it. It's leading the way. It's high volume. Coin number 2, building on Cardano. So we have an infrastructure play and we have a DeFi play. Meld, TJ, you might like this because it's an L2.
Yeah, I like Meld.
Yeah, they're building on Avalanche, and they have their own chain on the EVM. It is the Meld chain, and I've been seeing a lot of Meld projects starting to build on the Meld chain. And so I think this is really huge because you're able to connect funds in the Ethereum ecosystem and bridge it into the Cardano ecosystem. And they have a pretty good bridge, really cool site. And they just had an announcement I want to share. The Swedish krona is now available for on-ramping and off-ramping. TJ, what do I always say about I want to get this stablecoin eventually? It's the Swedish krona. You know, they crush us. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
They crush us in inflation. Not crush, but America beats about the whole world when it comes to their currency. So like we have pretty bad inflation, but it's like worse in Japan. It's worse in China. It's worse in Brazil. So it's worse in European Union. So, we're good comparatively. So, everything is relevant, but Swedes, they beat us. And so I've long said, like when Tether has a Swedish stablecoin and you just want to park some stablecoins on the side, might be the move to do Swedish krona. And so, yeah, this is 3 hours ago. I saw it this morning. They keep just bridging more and more currencies. So pretty cool site. I would check them out, meld.com. If you like DeFi, you like Cardano, you also like Ethereum. It's pretty cool stuff right there. All right, let's move on. Brazilian police blocking $1.6 billion worth of crypto in fiat and nationwide raids.
Dang.
In unrelated news, the president was seen driving around in a new Lambo. I don't know if that's not true. Of course not. Of course not. It was his children. His children got the Lambos. But yeah, they're coming after. I'm sure there's some number of criminals. I just hate the idea that there's some number of people who aren't criminals. Maybe they said something critical about the government. Maybe they just, liked a Facebook post that they weren't supposed to like. I wonder if there's any element of that. But yeah, just Brazilian, they shut down, they are saying 3 criminal groups here. It was a, joint little Caesar operation that they did there. We have a UK officially introducing a bill to legally recognize crypto, NFT, and RWAs as personal property. Wake me up when this passes and when it gets signed. It doesn't take, you can get their version of a Cynthia Lummis introducing a bill, but they might have their version of an Elizabeth Warren shutting it down. TJ, I might have to make a poly market bet on John Deaton. What do you think about that?
On him, on
winning.
his potential win? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they have it up yet. I think they do have it up.
I was going to say, what are the odds? Or what? I mean, hopefully they'd give you decent odds because I feel like she's still favored pretty heavily, right?
You would think so because, it is very difficult to knock down an incumbent senator. It's actually one of the hardest races to win.
She's been there, and especially one that's been there for a while. So
let's see here. So if we type in...
And you're basically trying to knock out the person that the banks have been funding for a long time. And, you're fighting not just her, you're fighting her constituents, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't think they have it. They need to have it. They need to get it up. And when they do, I will vote for Deaton. I got some alpha. Almost don't want to share the alpha, but I'll share it with the Disco fam. There's a credible sounding guy. Maybe he's full of, hot air and smoke. Who knows? But Elizabeth Warren, she's been attacking Google for antitrust competitive nature, wants to break up this big tech monopoly. And I heard that Google is basically feeding negative articles and a negative sentiment when you Google her name. And if Google wants you to lose... It's pretty high odds you lose, right?
Yeah, odds start to go in Deaton's favor if Google flips on you.
I would say that's for sure here. I see a lot of stuff. I see Arizona. So let me type in Massachusetts here. Massaetts. That's too many letters. Here we go. Wow. That's a payday. Now, I'm not saying John Deaton's going to win. I'm saying I like these odds.
Yeah.
I like these odds. I definitely like these odds here. So yeah, I feel that might be there might be some alpha there, folks. Republican lawmakers are probing Gary. They're probing Gary for allegedly politically motivated hiring, questioning the agency's impartiality. Doesn't every regime? To me, this feels like a political witch hunt. I am no Gary Gensler fan. I'm the opposite. That being said, this probing feels politically motivated. Tell me an SEC chair that isn't going to hire people that align with him fundamentally, ideologically. And so I don't know, you know, I hate seeing this because I feel like the next SEC chair that might be a Republican, they'll just levy the same charges at him.
Well, yeah, I mean, what is a political hire when you're in politics? Isn't every hire a political hire? I mean, how do you define what's political?
Oh, Deaton is, wait a minute. Yeah, I thought Deaton was a Republican. Yeah, no, Deaton won his Republican primary. Someone was saying Deaton's a Democrat, though, C90. No, I don't believe so. I want to say Deaton, no, he won his Republican primary there. Maybe someone fact check me. Swift, are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
I got the Deaton look down, you know, the t-shirt with the bald head. I just need a goatee. I haven't shaved my face in like 10 days.
Yeah,
I look like
he
a
won the
scraggly
Republican
wolf man.
primary. Yeah.
Yeah, so he did win the Republican primary. Yeah, so those odds. I mean, again, I don't know how true it is that Google wants her to lose, but I do know if there's a powerful, say popular at least, senator calling for your breakup as a company, and you have power to, you know, have her lose, it'd be hard to not press that button. You know, so I you know, we'll see. Again, I'm sure Google, they do nothing wrong, right? Swift eyes blockchain integration to connect global digital and fiat transactions. Some are saying this is a big news for ETH and Ethereum, but we got someone, Zach Rhines. He's the Chainlink community liaison. I know this is going to be biased. He corrected the notion from Van Eck, who said that Ethereum is the only layer 1 Swift mentioned using for his experiment, saying, no, you're wrong. This big Swift announcement, the Swift integration to global networks here, is actually between Swift, Chainlink, and over a dozen financial institutions using Chainlink's CCIP. That stands for Cross-Chain Interoperability Protocol. That is just wordthink for messaging language, okay? So they're using Chainlink's language for interoperability between Swift and 3 blockchain networks, ETH, Avalanche, and Quorum. He said that the regulated digital asset means Ripple, noting that this has nothing to do with XRP and that the only blockchain directly involved is Chainlink. You still bullish on Link?
Very bullish. Yes.
Very bullish. Okay, so when I hear very bullish, I hear potential 2x from previous all-time high. That's a $100 Chainlink.
Yeah.
Do you think Chainlink can hit $100?
I do.
I do too. I actually think there is a scenario where it can flash wick similar to this, like it'll live there for an hour. I think there's a world where it can flirt with $200. Is that going to be possible?
Sure.
That would only be a $24 billion market cap. I think it can easily do a $24 billion market cap. I think 24 billion. I mean, 40 billion seems doable, but I definitely see Chainlink this cycle pushing towards $20 billion. So very, very bullish. All right, sticking with banks here. This is pretty scary looking, at least. Q2 is the 11th straight quarter of unrealized losses on banks' balance sheets, a streak we've never seen before. And then this is where it looks real scary. So we saw like a little streak here, but it really wasn't that much. We saw a long streak here. Again, really not that much. Look at this, though. These are massive losses being held on balance sheets. The bright news, or the silver lining, we've consolidated into a fewer number of banks. And so if a bank is larger, they can withstand lower downside. So they can stand a larger loss. And so, you know, maybe, you know, Bank of America in 2008 wouldn't be able to handle giant unrealized losses, but Bank of America in 2024, it's large enough and, you know, has enough mergers where it can handle giant losses. It's still scary.
Yeah, this is not good. I mean, this is somewhat of the result of what we were seeing in 2022, where those regional banks failing and, like you said, getting consolidated into these larger banks. This is somewhat of reflection of a larger problem, obviously. Like, this is a big problem. This is why you want to keep your money in a self-custody solution. This is why you don't want your money in a bank. When they have to realize these losses, things can go sideways really fast. This is why they have to print more money to give to these banks to keep them liquid so they don't run out of money when they have to realize these losses. So there's a lot that chart right there really reflects a lot of the problems that we have in our
Yeah, it is
society
reflecting
right
hard, much like my forehead and the studio lights. C90, I recant my statement. Sorry for that misinformation. I could have sworn otherwise. For contrition, you must do 1 dab and 10 push-ups and market buy Cardano or XRP. Your choice. You know, we like choices here. August PPI. Someone was asking about the PPI like 30 minutes ago. I want to make sure we covered it. The August PPI fell to 1.7, but expectations were only 1.8. The core PPI unchanged. Expectation only 0.1 away. Is now at its lowest level since February 2024. So we got a PPI inflation, you know, has been slowing down. OpenAI, you know, people got some pretty bold valuations after Apple and Nvidia backs it. Good news for Sam Altman. Coinbase launched a wrapped Bitcoin token following BitGo's wrapped Bitcoin controversy. I'm not sure which number of, you know, as far as launch, how many wrapped Bitcoins. I know there's the main one, but there's been a couple competitors that have launched as well. So this was teased back in August. And so now it's stirring a lot of controversy in the fast moving space here. Wrapped Bitcoin will be more and more important. But I will say BlackRock, you know, kind of put a lot of wind out of those sales. You know, I think a lot of people are just, I'll just buy a BlackRock ETF. You know, if I wanted some sort of, you know, off-chain. A lot of people don't want to download a Bitcoin wallet. You know,
No, this has a lot more to do with DeFi than anything else.
Yeah.
This is how and why institutions and long-term forever holders of Bitcoin will be able to monetize their Bitcoin without actually having to move it. What you'll see is representative Bitcoin, which is kind of how the society works right now. It's all paper-based.
Yeah.
So you'll see representative Bitcoin on this Base network. Base will end up having the #1 DeFi. Coinbase will make a stupid amount of money off of what they're doing with Base, and you'll see the strongest, best assets all. I think this is really what's going to set up the Bitcoin DeFi ecosystem. It's going to happen on Base. The purists probably won't love it because it's not pure Bitcoin DeFi, but it's also not a shitcoin. It's a pretty interesting evolution of where the space is going. I think it's pretty pivotal, and it will be what we need for people to be able to interact with DeFi applications at a low fee without, you know, being able to do short-term things, high transaction related things, having smart contracts, implementing things across Base while still staying in your native asset of Bitcoin. You don't ever have to actually let go of your Bitcoin. It's a pretty cool implementation.
Yeah,
of
no,
technology.
wrapped Bitcoin is the #1 wrapped Bitcoin product here. It's or WBTC.
Yeah.
I guess they kind of have like the Xerox strategy. They just took the name.
Yeah, I mean that's wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum, basically.
Right,
and
and this protocol particular came out 2019. And yeah, to TJ's point, most people are going to be trying to I want my Bitcoin to do something, and I don't trust a Celsius, and so, you know, find some DeFi protocol. Now, TJ, there are some number of people, especially in Cardano, they just have Tether on ETH and they just want some Bitcoin exposure, so they'll just buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin with their Tether instead of, you know, trying to custody or use a centralized exchange. And so some people, it's just a way to fake hodl Bitcoin on different chains. But I do think primarily it is used for DeFi, but
it will be. I mean, it's got to build into that, right? Like it's not an overnight thing, but it just like Bitcoin DeFi has increased since wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum, and it kind of allowed it to get a flavor of it.
There's a lot of markets for this. There's a lot of things you can do with this. If we look, I want to show rows of 100. Now, a lot of this will be exchanges to buy it, but a lot of these are going to be like DeFi trading pairs. And yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with wrapped Bitcoin on Curve. Looks like Bancor. There's a couple other ones as well.
Yeah, Convex
for sure.
Those are the main places that DeFi exists now. And like I said, it's going to get fascinating what you can do on Base when you eliminate and you get lower transaction fees. So, and it's the same thing that's coming to Ethereum with their upgrades and the transaction fees getting lower there as well. So, this is one of those upgrades in crypto. Sometimes you see it when it's not super sexy. It doesn't really have an immediate impact on retail. It's kind of techie and nerdy over most people's heads, but it will have a long-term dramatic building effect on crypto over time. And this is one of those upgrades. It's kind of like I would equate this to decentralized liquidity pools coming to Uniswap in early 2020. Uniswap was around for a while, but once we saw a huge explosion in DeFi, I have a feeling this type of stuff, you know, wrapped Bitcoin on Base over time will have a similar effect. Maybe not quite that dramatic, but it is one of those big development.
Ugin trivia. Why is SBF in a gulag? Is that like a punchline that here's the clarified criteria. Known as several ZK, aka Zero Knowledge Team, roller teams have indicated publicly mentioning projects. One strong jawline, folks. And if you like strong jawline, Vitalik, hit that like button, folks. I got to go work on some videos. I got to tell you what the heck's going to happen to XRP, man. We got to look at the past to determine the future. And I got plans of plans, and I'm going to share those plans later. That's all I got, folks. See you in the future.